From green to red to dead. The critter is tiny, the damage massive.
What it's doing to our countryside and what it's doing to small towns all over the province is devastating.
I don't think people fully understand what we're facing here.
But what we have right now is an immediate threat.
In fact, a number of threats: economic, environmental, and social. For the past 2 years, SIBAC, the Southern Interior Beetle Action Coalition, has been studying the impact of the mountain pine beetle and what to do about it. The backdrop to SIBAC's work: an already hurting forestry sector that the pine beetle will make even worse. Local economies are suffering, and so are people. The current challenges have forced many to leave their homes, their communities, in search of other work.
Families are at risk. We've got families, you know, their husbands are having to leave town, which leaves the kids and mom, you know, back trying to look after the family unit. It's brutal right now in the Boundary area, and that's our concern. So if we get hit again really heavy with beetle, then once again, where do you go with that?
It's a question First Nations in the Southern Interior have already had to confront.
5 years ago, we had maybe 2 to 6% mountain pine beetle infestation on our land. Now we're at 85%. I'm, of course, First Nations. I use the land. I hunt, I fish, I gather. So when I see what is being lost and where are we going to go from there, that hits me hard.
Another sector likely to be hard hit by the beetle is tourism. It's just about the only thing some communities have left. People flock to places like Christina Lake to enjoy the natural beauty of the area. The pine beetle hasn't bitten hard here yet, but it's likely just a matter of time.
If you can picture driving through and seeing red on that hillside, you will then get the feeling of what a tourist would think as they're coming through. Right now it's inviting, but if that hits aesthetically to our area, then the message is never the same.
It's hardly the same at Monk Park Campground near Merritt, where the pines used to provide welcome shade to the campers. It's lost 1,000 trees to the beetle in just the past 2 years. Apart from the obvious economic impacts, the most immediate threats can be summed up in just 2 words: fire and water.
It will be impacting people's water supply. It will be impacting forest fire hazards. The fuel load is incredible, and that fuel load changes as the trees go from red to gray.
Just listen to this. That's the sound of what foresters and firefighters refer to simply as fuel.
This stuff that is down right now has been attacked either last year or the year before. We can go into here and just go like this, and look, it's bone dry. What we have right now is an immediate threat. If we're looking at this type of fuel, if we're looking at the wind, which is blowing this way right now, and if we went over this hill, is the community of Merritt.
A community like so many others at risk. The good people of Kelowna know all too well about that. Thousands of them recently forced to leave their homes to escape the raging wildfires. That's why SIBAC is urging the province to make sure communities are kept as safe as they can be, that they have the means and the money to deal with beetle kill and reduce the risk of fire. It's called fuel management, and SIBAC has already participated in one pilot project in the East Kootenays.
Recipe's there. We have the recipe for success, but really it's the method and the process to do it is what we got to focus on now.
The same goes for the lakes and streams that supply our drinking water. Scientists worry pine beetle kill could hurt the quality of that water.
As these pine trees die in our watersheds, of course, the snow is going to melt quicker because you don't have the tree canopy to preserve the snow in the spring. So hence we could have higher water levels in the spring that we've never seen before. So some flooding damage, we're going to get siltation in the streams.
And that's why SIBAC is recommending the province do a thorough assessment, figure out which consumptive use watersheds are at greatest risk, and what to do about it.
We've heard this loud and clear. We've had community meetings throughout the southern interior in our partner groups, and everybody is concerned about water. It was number one on the list.
It will be a long and a difficult war, one that'll be fought on many fronts. But many places, like the Christina Lake Golf Club, a big tourist draw, aren't waiting. The club is spending tens of thousands of dollars planting a whole new generation of trees. On the 10th fairway, young maples stand like child soldiers, waiting to take the place of the tall, majestic pines should they one day fall to the beetle.
So this course has become proactive, and they're looking ahead and saying, no, we don't need the downtime. We're part of the tourism at Christina Lake. We want to continue to invite the tourists to our community, and we don't want to face that downturn.
Rural communities are also struggling to diversify, so their economies and their way of life aren't totally dependent on one industry alone. With the decline of forestry, you could say it's a matter of life and death. That's why SIBAC helped fund a pilot project with Thompson Rivers University to increase local tourism in the southern interior, and is recommending more government funding for rural communities.
We have started that process of becoming diversified. We need more help with that. We're willing to do the work, we're willing to have the volunteers become part of it, but we need that helping hand that says, okay, here is some dollars to work with without a bunch of strings attached.
It's not just strings, it's red tape too that needs to be cut for companies that find ways to create opportunity from devastation. In Princeton, the Weyerhaeuser sawmill is still running, still turning out lumber, even though much of it carries the distinctive blue stain of the beetle. Cutting-edge technology ensures the company gets the most from every log, but even so, with beetlewood, there's always a lot more waste. And guess where that waste is going? It's going right next door to the cogen pellet plant. These pellets, made from sawdust and shavings, are now exported all over the world, used, among other things, as fuel in coal-fired power plants.
And as a result of that, are burning pellets to augment the coal and whatever that they are burning presently to in order to produce less of the nasty things going into the climate.
The plant itself is actually powered by, well, by sawdust.
To me, this is a perfect example of utilization of formerly a waste product. We're adding value to that product and turning it into a profitable product, and as a result, they're paying taxes, they're paying wages, and they're paying royalties and whatever. So it's a positive all the way around.
But there's a problem. This innovative company is having trouble finding enough wood waste to make its pellets. Strange when you think of all the dead pine around.
Sawmills are hurting, they're not running, so we have a problem with fiber. Hence, we're looking for new fiber opportunities.
And here's where SIBAC says the province needs to act, needs to change the rules that lead to situations like this. This stand of beetle kill was cut down and taken away by cogen and made into fuel pellets. The owner of the land, private land, was only too happy to see the trees gone. All they were was a fire hazard to nearby homes. But look at this, right across the street. Another stand of dead pine, nothing but a fire hazard really, but still standing, because they're on Crown land. That means expensive stumpage fees have to be paid to cut them down. Some say more than the trees are actually worth. SIBAC says the government needs to fix policies like that, policies that keep dead trees standing and bring in new ones to maximize the value of our timber supply.
Those industries down there don't mind being charged stumpage rate for the value that they're going to produce out of the log. If the log is going to go to high value production in terms of lumber, they can eat the stumpage rate in their profit picture. When it's going to be used for pellets, maybe it has to be a different price. When it's going to be used for cogeneration burning, maybe it has to be a different price, or maybe there is no price on it.
And the mayor has 140 acres on a ridge overlooking the plant, just waiting for other companies interested in turning red into green.
We're offering a green industry, industrial base for them. Heat and perhaps power produced from a green perspective.
One reason SIBAC funded a pilot project in Princeton to help figure out how much beetle kill there was in the area and how to put it to good economic use. One tiny critter, a host of giant problems. The road ahead won't be easy, but SIBAC believes its recommendations are a good start.
Because the effects of our forests are so visible, I think that it will be difficult for government to ignore. And I think that they have been supportive of the process to date. They recognize that it's going to be a huge impact, not only on the economy, but on the well-being of all the people in our area.
That's why SIBAC believes it still has a role to play going forward. Meeting people, finding the facts, and making recommendations, that's all important. Continuing to help find solutions, well, that's critical.
And because that's been our focus, I think that we are the people that are best suited to monitor this as time rolls on.